there was debate whether that did count last time, so apologies. Right. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina kina ki uta, ki mā taratara ki tai. E he ake ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, tihei mauri ora. Kia ora everyone, and welcome to the Environment and Climate Change Committee. Apologies for that brief confusion that I created. We will just briefly go to an acknowledgement from the Mayor Phil Goff on the passing of the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, as he watches over us from the picture at the back there. Thank you.
Kia ora, Mr Chair, kia ora koutou, and acknowledge my tuku link, and sorry to hold up your presentation. This is our first meeting of Auckland Council since the passing of Prince Philip on Friday night, and I think it's appropriate at this meeting to pay a tribute to him and in particular to pass on our sympathy and condolences to Queen Elizabeth. As the Queen stated, after 73 years of married life, the death of her husband has left a huge void in her life and has created a real sadness, notwithstanding his nearly 100 years longevity for her and for her family. Some years ago, the Queen paid a tribute to her husband, and I thought appropriate to read what she said. He has quite simply been my strength and stay all these years, and I and his whole family, and this and many other countries, owe him a debt greater than he would ever claim or we shall ever know. There are things that I think are quite notable about the Duke of Edinburgh's life, and I want to touch on some of them. Firstly, they had reached their platinum wedding anniversary, and not many people can aspire to achieve that. And in this day and age, and including for the royal family, the longevity of that marriage is something to acknowledge and to remark upon. The Duke himself was at times controversial, but today, I think, is the opportunity to acknowledge his service. Some say that it was simply a life of privilege. In some respects, it was a life of privilege, but if you look at his earlier times as a child, when for years at a time he was separated both from his mother, who suffered from mental illness, and from his father, it was a pretty difficult upbringing. And he prevailed over those difficult circumstances of his life. He had active service in the Navy during the war. He, from the time that the Queen became Queen in 1953, undertook something like 22,000 public engagements. Now, we all think we're pretty busy, but 22,000 public engagements over a lifetime is pretty remarkable. It might have been a privileged life, but it was also a life that was incredibly challenging, being in the public spotlight and pretty relentless in his demands. I think here in New Zealand we'll remember him for his particular support and encouragement for young people through the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. And we'll remember him, and this is something that he's passed on to his eldest son, as being a strong advocate for conservation. Appropriate to have our guests here today for that, long before conservation and a sustainable environment became something that most of society had embraced. But I think at this time we would want to pass on our sympathy and our condolences to the Queen. I think I'm looking at the age of those around the room. Certainly for me, she's been Queen of our country and head of the Commonwealth throughout my entire lifetime. And whether you're a Republican or you're a monarchist, few would deny that she has been tireless and relentless and honourable in the service that she has given to her country, to our country, to other countries of which she is head of state, and the Commonwealth. So I think it appropriate, Mr. Chair, that we formally acknowledge the Queen's loss, pass on our condolences to her and to the royal family, and take a minute of silence to remember Prince Philip's passing and to honour the things that he has achieved over his lifetime. And I'd invite us to stand and take a minute's silence. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Kia ora, thank you, Mayor Goff, and thank you, Member Wilcox, as well.